Let's see. This is a 17-unit apartment building. Okay. In Kansas City. I don't know that much about Kansas City real estate. I like Kansas City as a town. It's pretty neat. So let's take a look at the pictures here. This looks pretty nice. Kind of hard to tell when it was built. Maybe in the 90s. I'm not sure. It's called Plaza 44 Luxury Apartments. Ooh, fancy luxury apartments. Okay, well, let's find out. So nice landscaping, nice exterior. Got some trees, that looks pretty nice so far. Has a pool. Okay. Parking lot here right next to something that looks not luxury. It's like maybe apartment building, probably maybe a hotel, maybe a motel. Little pool here. Kind of a nice little feature. I've lived in multiple apartment complexes. None of mine have pools, and I never have used the pool at an apartment. Is this still a thing? I don't know if people are still putting pools in. I don't know if it's that much of a benefit. Or even a clubhouse. Like, how often do people use a clubhouse? Is it still a thing? A little workout room in there? I guess if it's a big enough complex, there's probably a demand for it. If I was building something that was maybe 300, 400, 500 units, then maybe I'd have a pool and a clubhouse. But I don't know. I don't think that stuff really gets used very much at all. So I'd be curious to talk to somebody who has an opinion. But anyway, so pool, you got a lot of maintenance there. There's going to be a lot of cost to a pool. You got to have somebody who knows what they're doing so that they can stabilize the chemicals in the pool. Because if you don't, and your pH is off, then it's going to ruin your pool equipment. And so your manager is probably not going to know anything about how to take care of a pool. I mean, hopefully they do. The one that's here probably should know, obviously. And, got to make sure the water level's right. You got to clean out the filters. You have to make sure that they've got their little robot or whatever driving around on the bottom, cleaning the bottom. So you got to make sure that's in there every night. You got to put a cover on it. You got to make sure the temperature is okay. There's just a lot that goes on with maintaining a pool. And if you're already busy doing renovations or got high vacancies and all that, then it's like the last thing that the manager is going to have on their mind. But that's okay. But there does come with a lot with more expense. I'm not sure it comes with a lot of sales value to where people are going to want to live in these apartments because of that. But I guess you're calling them luxury apartments. If people are moving into a luxury apartment, they're probably going to expect a workout room and a pool and a clubhouse. Probably. So just very nice landscaping out here. Look at that. That looks really nice. I like it. Okay. Oh, this looks nice. They look fairly new. Maybe this was built in the 2000s. But he's got the little deck, little patio area. Okay. What's this back here? Another apartment building, maybe. House. So maybe this is an older house. So maybe this is in an older part of town. So that's something to keep in mind. It's called, down here it says incredible A+ country club plaza location. So, a lot of times these country clubs are in older areas, like the more well-established ones that are sort of more high-end or old money kind of feel to them. And so that would make sense that maybe this would be in a kind of older houses and stuff around here because it might be just an older established country club area. So, all right, let's move on. Let's look at this interior picture. It looks nice. Yeah, I mean, tile floor, white trim and brownish gray walls. So this is a staged one that they're using. Looks like. So it's got older cabinets that they painted white. You can tell just from the design. See that? A little wave there. This makes me think that these are older. I can imagine somebody would put new cabinets in like that. It's a raised It's raised, so I don't know, but they look nice. So you'd have to look closer, maybe in person, or get some real pictures from somebody in person to look at like the hinges and just like were they well painted or did they look bad? But since they calling this a luxury apartment, they're probably painted well. It's got nice subway tile backsplash. It looks nice. Stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, uh, sunken sink, faucet. So that looks nice. You know, sometimes you can look and tell on the bottoms of these whether they did a good job or not. I can't really see anything right off the bat. Okay, another picture of the kitchen. Oh, this one's got hardwood floor. That's nice. It's an actual hardwood floor. And it's a bedroom, hardwood floor. That'd be nice as an owner too, because I think they're pretty sturdy, you know. So it makes me think it's an older building, honestly, that's been renovated, but I don't know. I'm getting a little confused by when this thing was built. Okay, that looks good. Good. Okay, not much more to look at here. Yep, looks nice. Looks nice. It's got some crown molding, kind of nice little extra feature. This one's got tile throughout. Looks like. Okay, decks. All right. Yeah, decking. Nice privacy. I think this is around the pool. Okay. It's all brick exterior, so that's nice for maintenance. Everybody's got their own parking spot, so that's kind of nice. Here's an older apartment. It's got the wood shakes on the side walls. You know, so that's built in the 70s probably. Okay, so here's a map. Don't really know much about it. That's all right. Okay, let's get into the analysis here. Incredible A+ Country Club Plaza location, on-site pool, off-street parking, 3 additional properties for sale within a mile for a total of 84 units. Oh, wow, interesting. Okay, so this is apparently a heavily rental area, is what I'm thinking. 17 units, 1 studio, 10 one-beds, 6 two-beds. In-unit washer dryer. Okay, so they have washers and dryers in the units. So that's nice. So here's the other ones that are for sale. So that's 56, 67. So yeah, they were right, 84. Fully renovated, multifamily property comprising 17 units, mix of studios, 1 bedroom, situated in highly desirable West Plaza neighborhood of Kansas City. Property provides residents with a blend of modern amenities, upscale finishes, stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, hardwood or tile flooring, crown molding, in-unit washer and dryer, private balconies, gated courtyard, private pool. So it doesn't have a courtyard, or it doesn't have a workout room or a clubhouse. It looks like just a pool. Okay. So it was built in 1966. All right. So it is old. Okay. I was thrown off there by their upgrades. 17 Class B, although it says up here that it's an A+ location. Okay. But it's a Class B property. And okay. That's about all we need to know. Let's get into the offering memorandum. All right. Plaza 44 Apartments, ideally located near Country Club Plaza. You know, I don't know. They did a good job of making this look upgraded. And this looks really nice. Okay. Enjoyed the benefits of owning real estate with the potential for immense appreciation on your property. According to CoStar, the Plaza area submarket price per unit has steadily increased from $89,000 in 2013 to $122,000 in 2019 to now $162,000 in 2022. Okay. You know, one of the things is that the the interest rates are still so high that a lot of these people have not adjusted their prices. And it's like, okay, well, sure, in 2022, the interest rates were phenomenal. So of course it was at its all-time high. You know, you could get a 25-year. I got a 25-year locked in commercial mortgage on my properties, locked in for 25 years at 3.5% interest. No, I mean that's what caused these properties to go sky high. You know, let me zoom in. That's what causes these individual property, the unit price to go so high because you've got cheap money. Now that same loan, I don't even know if you can get it locked in for 25 years anymore, but it's 7%, double what it was. That's a huge difference in the cost to the buyer. And a lot of these properties have not adjusted their prices down. Like it probably should be lower than what it was worth in 2022 because the interest rates doubled. But, it has not become a buyer's market. It's still a seller's market. The sellers are still asking for top-notch prices, and which just makes a lot of things not desirable. So you really have to work to find something that's a decent price that can actually pay for itself so you're not losing money due to your high interest rates. Now, interest rates are probably going to be coming down, but we don't know. And they're not going to come down to 3.5% again like they were. Maybe we get lucky. They'll come down from 7 to 6 or 5.5. That's probably as much as they're going to come down. So, and during this whole time, interest rates were fabulous, and inflation was crazy high. Like inflation just kept going. And anyway, let's take a look at the numbers here. All right. So it's got individual heating and air. Heat is gas. So let's see here at the utilities. The electric, every tenant pays their own. That's standard. They have a $40 RUBS. That's a ratio utility billing. So that's when the bill goes to the owner for the water, sewer, trash. It's just as one bill for the whole property. The owner is responsible to pay it all. The ratio utility billing takes that bill and it divides it up amongst all the apartments based on square footage. So if you have a higher square footage, your cost is higher. Obviously, if it's lower square footage, like for a studio, your cost is lower. They also take out sort of like common areas out of that, and so that they can kind of get a ratio for what each unit is using of that. It looks like to me that they're doing maybe just a standard $40 fee for everybody. That's what it looks like. See that? It says $40 RUBS. I'm thinking, and this is actually what I do. I just do a standard fee for everybody. I don't do the ratio utility billing where you send it to a company, they send it back as a utility bill to the tenant, and then the tenant pays you the utility bill. So it looks like official that this is your cost. Like if you get it from the electric company, so that it makes people pay it. And I haven't had any issues. It makes sense to everybody that it's for the water, sewer, and trash, and it's just a standard fee every month. And nobody has a problem with it. So I'd recommend you guys do that. Don't just eat this cost. Make it a utility fee. So this is good. Tenants pay for the cable and internet. Now, this is another thing. You can sometimes, and it depends on the amount of properties you have, but the local internet providers will often give you a deal if you make them the exclusive provider of internet to the building. So, for example, their standard internet rate might be $70 a month. If you're just a random person who wants their internet service, they would, if you agree to let them be the exclusive provider in your complex, they might give you that rate for $38. and they just bill you, the owner. So you're paying $38 on every unit for internet. But then what you do is you can bill the tenants for the internet at, say, $55. So you're making $17 a month off of the internet. And the internet company provides all the routers, all the customer service, all the everything. You just basically keep out their competition, and that's why they give you the discount. And it can work out. You can make, 17, let's figure that out actually. So $17 a month times 17 units, that's $289 a month. So, $3,500 a year you could make off of that. And you don't have to do anything. And it's usually good internet, high speed, good internet. And you can present it as, look, you would have to be paying $72 for this internet. Because I made an agreement with the internet provider, we get a discount to $55 a month. So you're saving $17 a month. So, there's no, I don't know what the no gas. But up here it says gas furnace. So what the heck's going on there? No gas for the owner? I don't know what they're getting at there. We'll maybe figure that out as we go. Okay, here we go. Here's finally to the good stuff. Finally to the actual numbers. Let's dig into this. So they've given us 2024 actual numbers. Good. That's good. That's what you want to see. And then they gave us their pro forma numbers, how they think this thing can perform, which is always better, So the rental income is $220,000. They have $730 of other income, whatever that is. I'm not sure what their other income would be. Maybe late fees. I don't know. It's too small to probably be application fees, or let's see, 730. Oops. 730 divided by 12. What is this per month? $60. I don't know. It's not that significant of an amount, so it's not all that important, but it was something I would ask the agent. Utility reimbursements. This is that RUBS. They're $40 a month. So let's just see here if this actually adds up. So that's $480 a month that you're getting back. You would normally be paying that because it's everybody's on the same water. There's not meters for the water and the sewer and the trash. It's just a one meter per building or whatever. So that's pretty standard how most of these are. So that's $480. They're only getting $28 a month. So they maybe didn't have that implemented all year. They just started it maybe partially through the year. That would be my guess. Less vacancy. That's they just in their actual numbers. They already have that baked in to their amount here. See that? So that they just have it blank. Whereas on the pro forma, they're going to factor it in. So this is good. That's how they should do it. I've seen some others where they have their actual numbers, but then they have a vacancy. And it's just like a standard number vacancy. So then I'm like, wait a minute, are these numbers even real? Or is that actually, so it kind of trips me up. So I like how they do it. Just put all your vacancy right here. This is how much money you actually collected. So it just automatically includes vacancy. And that's fine. So it makes $227,000 in operating income. Now let's take a look at the expenses. Okay, administrative, whatever that means. It could be, I don't know, maybe taxes, maybe legal. I don't know, but they think it's going to be a lot less than what they spent in 2024. I don't know. And I would like these numbers to be 2025. Like, what's the 2025 numbers? We're almost at the end here. Okay, management fee they think is going to go down. Right now it's 10,000. A lot of times management fee is around 10%. So this is pretty low. This is less than 5%. Payroll, leasing and advertising. So we would need a little more clarity on what all this stuff is. Like, what's the difference between payroll and administrative and management fee? What are you doing? Is this payroll a maintenance guy? Is this payroll a manager? Is the management fee a third party, or is it an employee who does it part time? Is it somebody who lives on the premises, one of the tenants who's doing that? So altogether, this cost would be close to 10%. So if we add these all in as if a management company, maybe was taking care of all that, we'd be about 21,000 or about 20,000 with these three. So then they also have this leasing and advertising. So we're not sure if that's just advertising or if it's paying someone like a commission on leasing. So a lot of times how these management companies will work is, if you've got a vacancy and they lease it, well, they get like half of the first month's, or they get the first month's rent, as a payment, in addition to the management fee that is more of the ongoing management of the current tenants. So we would have to look into what that is. It's not very much on a monthly basis. So I'm thinking maybe it's like a subscription to, like maybe it's apartments.com or something, and then people can fill out leases there. So maybe something like that. They have it going down in their pro forma. They have payroll completely eliminated in their pro forma for some reason. Who's going to be doing whatever that person was doing? How are you eliminating it? Why were you paying them then if they're not necessary? So that doesn't make much sense to me. Service contracts. So this would be probably things like snow removal and lawn care is what I'm guessing. That's what they're talking about there. Maybe with like water softener company that comes in and fills the water softener. Maybe the pool maintenance or something. Maybe they have an outside pool company that comes in and they're the ones who actually maintain the pool and do the chemicals and make sure everything is good. Okay, so they think that's basically going to stay the same. Leasing and advertising, they have going down. Service contracts, they have basically staying the same. Repairs and maintenance, 34,000 basically, so about $300 a month. That's a pretty good amount. So for 17 units, I would say $3,000 a month is actually quite a bit of repairs and maintenance. Yeah, so that's good that they didn't lower it very much. They still lowered it $4,000, which they are always going to do because, oh yeah, we are spending $34,000 a year, but you are going to be so much better at it than us that you're going to save $4,000. Well, why? Why would it be any lower than what you've got? Why would you just make it the same? Well, because we had this one thing that came up and we had to, there was an AC unit that was giving us some problems. So we spent a lot of money on the technician to come out there and get it going multiple times throughout the summer. Well, so that's just how that's always going to happen. That's not going away. Okay. So let's see here. So that's going down 4,000. I would just raise it right back up. That's stupid to put it down there, but everything's going down, right? Down, 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 down. Now we get to the utilities. Somehow the utilities are going up. Why are they using more utilities? So anyway, this is $7,000 in utilities, and they were reimbursed in their utilities $5,700. They're going to get reimbursed $7,600, they think, and your utility costs. Is only going to be $71. So you're going to fully capture all of your utility cost and you're going to actually make $500. So that's a good scenario. They lost $1,200 this year. See that? So maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. I guess let's figure out this utility number right here and make sure that's $40 a month for every unit. Now there will be it will be a little bit lower because you'll have some vacancy to where you're not capturing that, but let's just see. So 37. So that they kind of have a vacancy factored into that because it doesn't come out to exactly 40. So, so yeah, that's accurate. I mean, you could probably even be higher than 40. You could probably be 60. That's what mine is. So I don't see why you couldn't raise that. Now, 1 month. So people pay 60 at my properties. 1 month, I got a water bill from the city at one of my buildings. It was an 8-plex, and it was normally the bill was around. Let me think. I think it's normally around about $400 for the water and sewer, about $400 consistently every month. And then 1 month I get the bill. We get billed every other month actually, so that's for 2 months. This 1 month I got the bill. It was $3,500. $3,500, and I was like, what the hell? What is going on here? So we called the city and we're like, this is wrong. This is stupid. You know how we'd have to somebody'd have to be running a bathtub full time, 24 hours a day for 2 months to even get close to that. This is ridiculous. Can't be a toilet leaking. That's way too high. Our bill went up by almost 10 times. We have leaky toilets all the time. We don't get $3,500 bill. And it was so annoying. The city came, they tested the meter, they walked through all the apartments and looked for leaking. They couldn't find anything. But because there was no way I could argue with them, and they're just like, well, that's just the way it is. I had to pay it. $3,500. So, if you're charging 60 and you get a $3,500, that eats up years of your utility costs. So I wouldn't feel bad about making a little bit of profit off of those utilities, is my point. So there was a toilet that was leaking a little bit that we did fix, and the next bill we got was fine. And so I still think there was something weird going on there, but because I couldn't prove that the meter was broken or something, I just got screwed and I just had to pay it. It was really unfortunate. So anyway, those are some of the things that can happen. So, and they're not fun. Okay, and then taxes. Okay, so we've got the $21,000 property tax bill, and they're projecting it to go up to $25,000. So let's just check what this thing is assessed at currently and see if that's realistic. So it's currently assessed at $300,000. Well, shit. What are they even asking for it? Did I even see? Okay. Well, so it's currently assessed at $300,000. They are going to want probably something like $2.5 million or something for this property. Well, let's just go off of the 2022 value. Yeah, like probably, I don't know, $2 million or something they're probably going to want for this. So you think from $300,000 to $2 million, the taxes are only going to go up $5,000? So if they're $20,000 right now, and we're going to figure out what the tax rate is. So the tax rate is, how is it so high? Why is it $20,000 for $300,000 assessment? That's like 6%. Wow. Is that right? Yeah, 21,800. Why is that so high? That is crazy high. 6% property tax? That doesn't make any sense. I must be doing something wrong here. What am I doing wrong? Let's just figure this out. $21,000. That is insane. 7.1%? Huh. That is definitely something I would want to ask the agent about because that seems wild. Maybe it's because something with this country club area that there's some weird extra assessment. I don't know. So that really kills the property value here. Because in a normal place, that's like around 2%. So it'd only be 6,000. So you get $15,000 more of your money being eaten up by your property tax. I think it's going to go up to 3,000. Maybe. I mean, I don't know what's going on with these things, but if it's 7% of the assessed value and you buy this thing for a couple million bucks, that's just gonna jack that way up. Crazy, huh? Okay, definitely something to put on the list that we would want to look into because something crazy is going on there. Insurance. Okay, they think it's going to stay the same. Depends on what they have it insured for, and insurance goes up like 30% every year. It's fucking ridiculous. So we're probably going to be up higher than that. So, okay, operating expenses, 104,000. They think you're going to be able that you are going to lower them down by 10,000. Why? Because you're eliminating this payroll person for some reason, and you're cutting expenses on basically everything. Not realistic at all. Okay, net operating income. There we go. That's what we want to know. 122,000. 122,000. They think you can make 145,000. Probably not. Let's take a look at the rents because they're probably already pretty good rents. So this current 1-bed, 1-bath, 1,040, and they think you can get 1,160. Okay, so $40 more, $40 more, $30 more, already up to market rate. This one's way under. Little bit there, little bit. So just bits and pieces, really. They've got some of them up to market rate, but they think that if you got them all up there, you could make about $900 more a month. Okay. So they're pretty much already at market rent. There's not a whole lot. It's not like you could come in here and raise the rents 20% or something to really get the kind of cash flow that you're going to need for this property. The leases, if they got numbers from 2024, these are probably all outdated by now. These leases have already expired, so not that you can raise the rents all that much. That's usually the main reason why you would want to look at the lease too, and see which ones, are on month to month or have leases expiring soon so that you can raise the rents when you take over. Here you're going to not really raise the rents much anyway, so just kind of irrelevant. Okay. So if this is your net operating income, 122, I'll do the actual number here. Let's just say 6% cap rate. Oops. Sorry, moron. Put this thing at 2,040,000. 2,040,000. Let's figure out what our payment's going to be on something like that. At 100% financing, because we always want to figure out 100% financing because that helps us compare properties across the board. Now, it's sort of like not including a mortgage in the numbers because everybody's going to have a different mortgage. We're just trying to figure out ways that we can compare all these properties equally. And also, I don't want to pay for the property. I want the property to pay for itself. So I want 100% financing, and I'm not going to consider it if it doesn't work at 100% financing, or if there isn't some kind of, I can implement technology and I can raise the rents, and that will get me to that. But even then, I probably still want the property currently to pay for itself, and then I want to take all that excess for myself. So 14,418. This is not going to work, of course. 173,000 a year at around $2 million purchase price. Well, that's $50,000 more than what it's currently bringing in. And with their projections, which are ridiculous because you're barely getting any more rent, and your taxes are probably going to go up. Your insurance is probably going to go up. There's no real reason why you're going to be able to cut repairs and maintenance. Somehow you're not paying a payroll, so I would just say basically it's going to be the same. There isn't really a pro forma on this one. It's basically going to be the same as what they're already doing. There's nothing to change. It's already renovated. It's already up to the market rents. Like, you're basically just buying it as it is. This is all bullshit. All of this bullshit. Bullshit. Not even close to what's going to happen in the future. But, that's how these things work. That's why you always got to be real cautious of these pro formas, because they're marketing pieces that the agents use to try to convince you that this property is more valuable than it really is. So you just tell them to fuck off, that their pro forma's lying, and that you're going to just go with the actual numbers. And you're going to look through these and make sure they have real actual numbers, and they're not leaving things out, and they're not trying to distort things in the actual numbers to make it look better than it is. All right. So this thing is, probably closer to 1.5. So yeah, that's about what this would be worth from a mortgage perspective. So 10,601 times 12, 127. Okay, so at 1.5, which I guarantee you they're asking probably 2.5, and they didn't give us the asking price, which is also retarded. Why aren't you giving us the asking price? What is the big secret? Just tell us what you want for the property so we can do a proper analysis, right? I didn't miss it, did I? They didn't put it in here. I did not even notice. I just went right through everything. Yeah, they never said. So what do they expect you to call them so that they can get you on their list, so that they can hopefully, if you don't buy this one, sell you something else, and it's kind of annoying. It's like, just tell me all the numbers so that I can look through it and I can make a decision for myself. And then I'll call you if I want to call you. And I'm, anyway, so this thing is maybe worth 1.5. They would probably be horrified to hear that. And even at 1.5, you're supplementing this thing with $5,000 of your own money every year. You maybe could bump these rents a little bit, bump the utility reimbursement a little bit, and so you could cover that cost. But I would that's what I would put the value of it, and I wouldn't pay any more than that. They have got everything done for you, so that's nice. There's not going to be big big projects, big infusions of capital that you're going to have to put into this thing. So that's nice. And if you could get it for, and this is because of the interest rates. I mean, seriously, like when we were getting interest rates 3.5%. Look at that. It would have been worth $2 million. See how I did that? So I lowered the interest rate down to 3.5, raised the price by $500,000, and it's the same payment. So that's it. The interest rate makes a huge difference on these larger, more expensive properties as to what their value is, because the person buying it's going to be getting a mortgage, and that's part of their cost. So you can't just expect them to buy it with cash. Like the mortgage is a massive thing. So I want always to calculate what is, not what was, not what will be, but what is. And as is, this thing's worth $1.5 million. And that's all. That's the most I would pay for it. So at 1.5, let's figure out what our cap rate would be. It's going to be really high. 8.1. Basically, with the interest rates the way that they are, you're going to need something. You're going to need an 8 cap on something that's going to, for something to 100% finance itself. You're going to need 8. Okay. And so a property like this that's in this great area that's all renovated and stuff, they're probably going to be trying to get like a 5. Okay. So let's see. 2.5 million. That would be my guess as to what they're kind of thinking for their price. And so to come in, we're going to need that 40% less at 1.5. They're not going to do it. So probably a waste of time to even consider it, but it would be a nice property at that price, because it basically is running. It would be easy to run. The repairs and maintenance, I'm not sure why they're so high, maybe related to pool. I know pool chemicals and maintenance is pretty expensive and is an ongoing thing. Okay, but I probably wouldn't really consider this because everything's still overpriced. And this is just common across the country. There used to be extremely good deals, and it's the market readjusting, and it's going to take some time, and it's going to take some realization by sellers that we're not going back to 2022. We're not going back there with those rates, and it's time to adjust. If you're serious about selling it, you've got to adjust your seller expectations. So, okay, that's that.